Welcome back, everybody, to Tea with Empress. It is me, Empress, and my lovely co-host, Miss Cheezel. And we are here once again to talk about some crazy topics going on in our Black community tonight. So
Mm,
let's get into our show.
let's go.
Mm.
Mhm.
So you and I talked earlier about something that's going on right now that I wasn't not really privy to. But there has been a lot of couples that have seemingly been going through some rifts lately. People been splitting up, breaking up, and things of that nature. And the main common denominator in all of these relationships has resulted to infidelity.
Yep.
So, our topic tonight is going to be, would you stay with somebody even though they've cheated on you?
Yeah. And no. And
Right.
so
I'm going to say, I couldn't, I was going to be honest. I tried. It was epic fail. I couldn't get over it. So, for me,
it's
yeah.
oh God. And it's so much we can really talk about. Because honestly, I'll say now, I'm not fully engaged in this whole Quavo, Sweetie thing, and then even people who are familiar with Derrick Jaxn and his partners. I'm not sure if it's his wife or his girlfriend. I'm really not sure.
I think it's his wife. He's been married for quite some time.
And I
Uh,
figured it was probably his wife, but even though we're both alumni of Tuskegee, I still don't really follow him like that. I know of him, but
mhm.
I don't really follow his wife like that. I'm not a like trending follower and stuff.
Right.
But I just kept seeing these posts, and some friends of mine from high school just like, hey ladies, do y'all think if women started cheating, we can make this normalized? And it's kind of a joke, but
hmm
at the same time, what is really going on? And you said, could I stay with somebody if they cheated on me? And honestly, it's really a respect thing. Like,
hmm
if you, for the most part, if you're cheating on somebody, you're going behind their back, and you know, you
Deceiving them and all that.
I think it just comes a point to where you have to decide, is it really worth it? Like, at this,
Yeah.
should you just leave versus trying to, because karma is a bitch, okay? It's going to come around. And I'll be completely transparent and open. I have been the cheater and the and
hmm
the and the person being cheated on, I'm not gonna lie. And
hmm
so for me, I know when, okay, so yes, I am a woman who has cheated in a relationship. Like, crucify me. I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. But I can also say that it was at times when I pretty much knew the relationship was over.
Yeah.
And I should have been the bigger person to just leave the relationship altogether versus, even if we knew we was not going to be together,
hmm
like down the line, it was no point in dragging it out.
Right. Just
We
give
were
them that
we were
decency.
emotionally done,
Yeah.
but it's still just the principle, just the respect for that other individual. It's just not right. And I
Yeah.
believe that karma comes back. Like, I kind of look at my life, and I do feel that I had to, like, see the downfall
hmm
from my actions.
Karma's a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Karma is a bitch. And I say that because, and she has it's crazy how they give karma a she type of um, ideology. Very funny way of rearing her head back
hmm
into the scenario.
hmm
And I just say that in my own experiences because I have as you said, I've checked out of a relationship, and in my head, I'm like, I'm over it. There's nothing left that I can give to this relationship, but I couldn't bring myself to end it. For some reason, when it comes to relationships, it's very hard for me to say I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess I don't like the confrontation or whatever it is. I've just never been able to do it. So every relationship is either I've checked out and they've noticed that I've checked out,
Mm-hmm.
or you know they've just broken up with me. But every relationship that we've broken up, I've been over it by the time we broke up.
Mm-hmm.
But the one relationship where I did cheat and I got with somebody else, that I got with that person that I cheated on my ex with, that person cheated on me from sun up to sundown, majority of our relationship. And I think of it as like karma telling me, like, okay, you may have just cheated that one time, probably wasn't that bad. You were checked out, but now I'm gonna show you how it feels. And
Mm-hmm.
being cheated on, it attacks at your insecurities. It hits emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that a lot of people cannot get over. So it makes you think like, dang, what other things have I done in life that karma's trying to tell me about or trying to get back at me about or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I won't be cheating on nobody else. I know that.
Right, because it's really not worth it. And honestly, two
Not.
wrongs does not make a right. It just really just creates more confusion. A few things while you were talking kind of made me kind of think about the different scenarios that we see when we hear about people cheating.
Mhm.
And like I see where you think everything is all fine and dandy, and one of the other individuals, just have a weak spot
Yeah.
and they slip up and they probably feel terrible and try to bury it. And sometimes, what happened in the dark comes to light. And then situations where someone might have an argument, something very temporary, something that they can get over if they actually communicate about it. But one of the party might step out of temporary anger.
Yeah.
And usually those situations might definitely come back and hunt them. And then you have situations where there is a flaw in the relationship.
Yeah.
And instead of communicating, people go and act out on a long-term basis, trying to satisfy their emotional needs in other ways. And I think about that last part almost, and not all the time, but like in a marriage. And what's interesting though, a woman I know had a conversation with multiple women.
Hmm.
All were in a relationship. Some were married, and some were just in just a partnership, girlfriend, boyfriend.
Right.
And so she presented the question to them: would they leave their partner if he cheated? Everyone said yes, except for the married person, which was really interesting to me. Like I see at times married couples, some of they have more to fight for to really establish and see what it is about their relationship that they need to see if it's something that is actually reconcilable. Is it something that we can work through or is it not? And an interesting thing about this, and I won't say the person's name or put her family out there like that, but she's a product of infidelity.
Mm.
Her stepmother found out about her the day of their wedding.
Oh wow.
So, like I said, when her father was getting married, her mom called her father and said, "You have a child. Not that I'm pregnant, not that the future wife found out he cheated. Like she
Mhm.
literally found out that he cheated 9 months ago, probably more than that at this point,
Right.
and didn't even know it was the wedding day.
Mm.
And that woman had a choice to turn her back on this man that she was about to marry
Right.
or to marry him. And now they have a loving family. Like when I say I have met her dad and stepmom, they are a power couple. I mean, that was one of the probably the many things that built their relationship to what it is today. So I know we said in the beginning, would you stay or would you go? A lot of people initially will say, oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But it really depends on
What you're willing to fight for.
it really is. And if that person is willing to fight for you as well, it has to be a two-way street.
That is
Like
true.
I can honestly say the people I cheated on, we were never meant to really be together, to be honest. And I'm not saying I was right. I'm not. I'm really not. But really understanding like what is it still wasn't, was it really worth it? No, it still wasn't, because I had to see other people get hurt, and I got hurt in the process because of other people getting hurt. But it's it's a hard pill to swallow, even still, and trying to see how you can really work this out. Like I said, it has to be a two-way street. Like the person who did the cheating really has to have a come to Jesus mean with themselves. Like,
Mhm.
where are you really trying to go with your life at this point?
And you bring up a point with marriages because they say statistically about 20% of um 20% of people cheat in their marriage. So every
You said 20?
20%.
That's it?
Right.
That's
That's
all
what
that's reported.
that's all it's reported.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I feel like every marriage has probably gone through infidelity. And infidelity for me is more than just physical. It can include them just talking about things or whatever. And that's just me personally because something.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't know if you remember the show Girlfriends. That's what happened with Maya.
Mhm.
Maya never cheated on her husband. I think she kissed the guy one time, but
Her
she
heart
spent intimate time with that man.
right.
So that you don't always have to sleep with somebody. You don't always have to kiss somebody. It's the time you spend and how you emotionally give them.
Hmm. And so I feel like with marriages, like when you said earlier, in a marriage, when you make those vows, yeah, your partner may have broken those vows, but I look back on. I don't know if you've seen the movie. The movie Not Easily Broken with Taraji B Henson. I could be saying the name wrong, but it's by T.D. Jakes. And in the movie, when they got married, they had this braid or this rope or something. I can't really remember all the way, but it was three. It was three strings to it, and it reminds you of braids. And he
It
said,
was three knots.
three
Three
knots.
knots in the
One is for you, one is for your spouse, and the other one is God.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love this analogy because in marriages, you're going to go through stuff. You're going to have so many trying
Mm-hmm.
situations, and you need to have God to keep you guys together. Because I look at it as when you're actually braiding hair, I'm not sure if anybody's ever braided hair. Sometimes there may be a short strand of hair, and or it gets too skinny or something, and you have to pull from one of the other strands to continue that braiding out, if that makes sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in my head, it makes sense, but it may not make
I
sense.
know what you're talking about. Like
Okay,
I know.
yeah, right. So when you're braiding hair, you have your three strands of hair, right? And sometimes as you're braiding, one of the strands may not be long enough to go to the end. And in this analogy, may not be strong enough to get through what they need to get through, not cheat to whatever. So you have to take from one of the other strands that is generally the longest, add it to the hair that is not, and then you can continue that braid, right? So for that analogy, when he made that, I was like, man, that makes sense. Because if I'm just in a relationship with Tom from up the street, we're not committed to each other. We don't have that third strand. It's just us. It is what it is. So if he cheats, I don't have any tying connection to him. It's like, okay, it is what it is. I don't feel like I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life. But
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who's in a marriage, there are so many marriages that go through infidelity. And I know the statistics say it's only 20% of marriages deal with infidelity, but I feel like that number is so much higher. I feel like it's not reported. I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
people are just looking at infidelity as physical sexual relationships, but it's so much more. If your heart is no longer in your relationship and it's with somebody else, you've cheated in my eyes. I know a lot of guys say, "Oh, that's not cheating, that's not cheating." It is.
Emotionally, yes, it is.
You have taken love from us and from our realm and you've given it to somebody else. You've given a part of yourself to somebody else. Just like in Beyonce's song, and she says you've taken a part of me and you handed that part of me to somebody else. That's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It's down to the point that a lot of marriages go through this cheating and they stick it out.
They
But
do.
if you look at
Not
it,
easy, I'm sure.
it's not easy. It's a long road. But I feel like if we are in our partnerships, how can we make it to a marriage and how can we make it through a marriage if we can't get through some of the trying times now? You know,
It always go back to communicating.
it,
Like you can't do anything without that. You don't communicate, you have nothing.
right. And I think in our problem is back in the days where there used to be arranged marriages and courting and all that, we didn't have the boyfriend girlfriend scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody just they courted, they got into a marriage, and they learned to grow with each other and work with each other. So nobody ever had to worry about if we're just in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship and they cheat, will I
Mm-hmm.
stay or not? Because they were already married. Whereas now everybody's haphazardly in these relationships trying to figure out if they like each other for 10 years before they get married. Then we got 10 weeks, we got 10 days, then we're getting married. I don't know. I just feel like in a marriage, I don't know if I would say. I know in my previous relationship, I didn't say. I personally was not able to get over it. I personally was not able to move past a lot of things and be comfortable with that person.
And I think it just really boils down to the history of that relationship.
Yeah,
And like we said earlier, what are you willing to fight for?
right. So going back to what's going on in the shade room news, um, Sweetie, I always want to call her Saweetie. Going back to her and Quavo, I one thing that I noticed about people, they don't understand that these celebrities are real people too. They go
Mm-hmm.
through real deal troubling times just like us, and their relationships don't last just like some of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like it's crazy that she even mentioned, "Hey, I checked out of this relationship a long time ago, but I'm still here." A lot of times we stay in relationships and
We can't do
uh,
that to ourselves.
right, and now people are like praising her, like well, not praising her, but a lot of people are comparing her to Cardi and Offset because Offset and Quavo are both a part of
But these circles are too small.
right.
Mm-mm.
And so in the instance of Cardi stayed with Quavo, no, Cardi stayed with
Okay.
Offset when he cheated, and they're trying to say, well, Cardi stayed with Offset. Why can't Sweetie stay with Quavo? Well, Cardi's one
It's
married.
two different scenarios, two different relationships.
She's
For
married
one.
with a kid. Sweetie's
Mm-hmm.
not. Sweetie is what, 24? She had a whole life. First of all, Cardi's I
Mm-hmm.
think like 24, 25 as well. But
Go ahead.
yeah, she's fairly young. She might be 26. I'm not
Jeez.
sure. Right. All of them are young.
But
I know
that
that.
but that is a good point. She is married with a child and they have more to work for,
Right.
like with their relationship. And Sweetie's just in a relationship.
Right.
Like she has a choice to see if she want to deal with us or she don't. And I really don't know what her reaction was because I saw his reaction to her and he was saying how he was disappointed in her. I don't know what she said, but I know there is no way somebody can be disappointed in someone else's disappointment of their infidelity. I just don't see how
You
this
know,
works.
men
I
like
still
to,
have no idea what she said to
they
make
like
him
to
say.
push stuff up. Okay, so this is what Sweetie said. He said, I'm single. After too much betrayal and hurt behind the scenes for a false narrative to be circulating that degrades my character. Presents don't band aid scars, and the love isn't real when intimacy is given to other women. I emotionally checked out a long time ago and have walked away with a deep sense of peace and freedom, excited for this new chapter of elevation. And
Okay.
that's when Quavo said, I know you want to make this into a show, so I'll play my part just this one time. I don't normally put my business out there, especially my personal life. I feel no need to address this, so there are no false narratives. I had love for you and disappointed you, did all of that. You are not the woman I thought you were. I wish nothing but the best. Um, and that was the end of their conversation until I think she replied, and there were some other replies as well.
That all spanned it from him being caught cheating, basically.
Yeah. So,
And she moved on with her life.
mhm. And we don't really know what happened with their relationship. I think with a lot of these celebrity relationships, we put them as goals, and we can't put somebody else's goals. We have to put ourselves as goals and what we want in a relationship and how we want our relationships to be. Because looking at to these celebrities, we forget they're real people and they
Hmm.
have real problems just as us, as they have had problems. They've only been together the past 3 years. And I think this year made the third year.
Oh wow. See, I didn't even know they were together that long.
Right. They
And I mean, she said herself that she checked out of their relationship. She probably could have saved herself a
a lot.
lot of time if everyone could have been honest with themselves.
Right.
Like everybody knows at some point when they're just not there.
Mhm.
And for the sake of other people's emotions, for the sake of pleasing everybody but themselves, they'll end up going along with situations that wasn't meant for them to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, what if she was in a 3-year marriage and she checked out? I would still think she had every right to leave if she wanted to.
Well,
Like,
Gary Owens
if
and
it
his
wasn't worth
wife.
fighting for,
Hmm.
I said if it wasn't worth fighting for, she had every right to leave.
Right. Gary Owens and his wife, after 18 years, just filed for divorce. So, and they're not saying what is that reasoning, but like you said, whether it's 3 years in a marriage or 3 years just in a relationship, if you are emotionally detached and you are done, don't
What's
stay
no
for
coming back for?
right.
And then some people do it for the sake of the children. Like I've heard that scenario 1,000 times. I'm seeing it with my family. I'm seeing it with people I grew up with. And even that's not really fair.
Yeah, because the kids see it.
Hmm.
They see that you guys are unhappy, and then they're gonna continue down that bad spiral and that generational curse of having these bad relationships because they pick up on what we think we're shielding from them. They know. Um,
Yeah, we got to stop making it seem as if children don't know what's really going on. They have eyes and ears. They may not fully understand, but they have enough understanding at that age.
it depends for a lot of people if you would stay or if you wouldn't stay.
Mhm.
Because like we talked about in marriages, there's a lot more to fight for versus in relationships. A lot of people just like I can move in and out of this relationship easily. That's why a lot of people don't get married because they don't have to make that commitment to be with one another.
And people who feel like they're in and out, because I feel like at the end of the day, going into a relationship, now I have seen people who knowingly know they're in a relationship just to enjoy their time and to get out. There are
Yeah.
people like that.
Mm,
But for the most part, some people are going to this because they want to find their future husband, their future wife. And, it is trial and error, but hopefully, majority of us are going in with a mindset of hoping
yeah,
that there's something more to it. But at the same time, be real with yourself at some point and know, are you really emotionally invested in this or
yeah,
not? Because it's not just about you. What about the other person?
yeah. That's a good point. That is a really good point.
It can be touchy, and every situation is going to be different.
Yeah, and
Should I stay or should I go?
Jesus, and I just hope for everybody, like, if you are dealing with infidelity or you are the person that is committing the infidelity, one, look at it and say, is this really worth it? Is all of the happiness that this relationship has brought me, is it worth this moment of momentary fulfillment?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not worth it, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't lose all of your happiness that you've had from this person or from this relationship for something that's momentary and something that may feel good in the moment, but it's not really good for you. Like, when we eat those fries, it feels good in the moment, but it ain't good for you.
It's like, oh no, why did
Right.
I do this to myself?
Right. So don't do that.
And then also like and like I said earlier, sometimes those situations build and make that relationship so much stronger, but that should not be the intention going in.
And I
It
hate
should not at all.
to say, like,
Because it doesn't happen for everybody.
oh, they do.
But
Like, oh, he cheated on me. Our whole relationship, he dogged me out, but we are better and stronger now. Can we stop the glorifying of being dogged out before we get the ring? Can we stop that? I don't want that. I don't want to be dogged out and then get the ring. And I don't want to be dogged out after I get the ring.
period.
But let's just normalize a happy, healthy relationship. If somebody steps out, communicate about it. Talk about it. Talk about
And
how it made you
the
feel.
whole world does not have to know. Keep it in house. Have that conversation in house. You don't have to go and tweet about it. You don't have to call all your girlfriends who you know ain't gonna keep it in the circle.
The
Like
whole I'm single on social media, it's not for me.
have that's the in-house conversation.
Right. And that's what
No
helps
one.
healthy marriages stay healthy is keeping all them people out.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them people out. Focus, because what's gonna happen when they decide to get back together? When these people decide to get back together, because they probably will. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
gonna be looking at you crazy. Because you decided to air your business out.
Exactly.
So we've all gone back to a relationship and our friends have all seen us go back to relationships. But even if somebody cheats, focus on what it did to you. Talk without with a therapist. Figure out if that's something you want to stay with,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to grow with, because that's how we grow. We grow by going through. We go by growing and going through things and talking things out.
Yes.
So if it's a marriage and somebody cheat on you, grow with them. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's not continuous, if it's something that's not meant to hurt you and it's not chronic, grow with them and y'all will have a healthy and happy marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that a lot of these relationships, we need more time, not more time, we need more people in the Black community because we want more of our healthy, happy Black love stories. But in those Black love stories, a lot of them have talked about infidelity and how they have moved past it. In order to get this happy, healthy relationship, that communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
The growing, the shadow work, the working together,
Mm-hmm.
all of that needs to happen. All of that needs to happen. So for me to just say, hey, I'm not going to stay with somebody, that was in my younger days. And that was when I didn't care. It was nothing we needed to talk about. But if we were probably married, I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
And it's hard to say what we would have done, but now looking at our younger selves and the lessons we have learned, now we know how we want to move forward
Right.
in situations.
That's true.
So,
But thank you guys for joining us. It's a short night tonight. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. Hopefully we said something that resonates with your spirit. Mm-mm-mm. If it does, if it doesn't, oh well. But we will see you guys back next time. And thank you guys for joining us.
Peace and love.
Mm-mm-mm.